Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Nur Aminin Aisyah. My matrix number is 2025424948 and I will talk about the Malaysia Digital Education Policy. This policy became very important during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 when schools were closed and learning had to move online. At that time, many students faced problems like weak internet, not enough devices, and difficulty joining online classes, especially in rural areas. Some teachers also had to learn new ways of teaching very quickly. Because of these challenges, the Malaysian government introduced this policy to improve digital learning, support students and teachers, and make education more accessible for everyone. That is why this policy is important because it helps Malaysia move toward a more digital future in education.
Hi, my name is Nur Afifah binti Abdian alias Nurdin. My number matrix is 2025425286. So, I will present my part is the policy background. The policy background that we choose is the Malaysia Education Blueprint 2013-2025. This policy was introduced by the Ministry of Education Malaysia to improve the overall quality of the education system in this country. The policy focused on improve the student performance, strengthening teacher quality, and ensure equal access to education for all students. It was developed because the government identified the several weaknesses in the education system that need to improvement. One of the major weaknesses to identify was the low performance of Malaysian students in international assessment such as PISA and TIMSS. Malaysian students performed below the international average, especially in mathematics and science subject. This show that the existing teaching method are not fully effective to help students understand the lesson. As the result, improvement will need to enhance the student academic performance and learning outcome. And another weakness was the inequality between the urban and rural school. Many rural schools lack a proper facilities such as a computer lab, learning material, and stable internet access. This situation created an equal learning opportunity for students in a different area. Students in a rural area often face more the challenge compared for those in a urban school. In addition, ecosystem teacher quality was also identified as a weakness in the education system. Many teachers were experienced some lack the sufficient professional training, especially in modern teaching method and a digital learning tool. This limitation affect the effectiveness of the classroom teaching and student learning the experience. Lastly, the education system relied heavily on memorization based on the learning rather than encourage the critical thinking and problem solving skill. This approach limited student ability to think creatively and apply the knowledge in real life situation. In today's modern world, students need skills such as critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. Therefore, the improved teaching method become important to focus on the policy. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Akila and my matric number is 2025243936. I will explain the problem that existed before the National Digital Education Policy was introduced in Malaysia. Firstly, one of the biggest problems was the digital divide among students. Students who live in urban area usually have a better internet connections and personal devices such as laptop, tablet, or smartphone. However, students in rural areas often face weak internet access or sometimes no internet connection at all. Besides that, many students from low-income families could not afford their own device. Some have to share one phone or laptop with their siblings and parents. As a result, it became difficult for them to attend online classes regularly and complete their schoolwork on time. These situations create inequality in education because not all students have the same opportunity to learn effectively. Secondly, many teachers did not have a strong digital skill before the policy was introduced. Some teachers only have a basic knowledge of information and communication technology, also known as ICT. They were not fully prepared to use digital platform and online teaching tools. Because of this, online learning sessions were sometimes less interactive and less effective. Students also find it difficult to understand lessons when teachers were unfamiliar with digital teaching method. In addition, some teachers needed more trainings and support to improve their digital teaching skills. Thirdly, the home learning environment was not suitable for many students. During online learning, students needed a quiet and comfortable place to focus on their study. However, not every student has this kind of environment at home. Some live in the crowded houses where there was a lot of noise and distractions. Others have to share device with their siblings, make it hard to join classes at the same time. Some students also needed to help their parents with household chores or take care of younger siblings. This situation affected their concentrations, learning time, and academic performance. Lastly, there was a limited access to quality digital learning material. Schools in urban areas usually have a better education resources, such as education videos, e-books, digital notebooks, and interactive learning performance platforms. On the other hand, schools in rural areas have a few digital material and limited access to technology. Because of this, students in urban schools often receive a better learning experience compared to students in rural areas. This gap widens the inequality in education between urban and rural students in Malaysia. Before the National Digital Education Policy was introduced, Malaysia faced several challenges in digital education. This included the digital divide, lack of digital skill among teachers, and unsuitable home learning environment, and limited access to quality learning materials. Before we move to the next issue, I would like everyone to take a look the problem that happened during the COVID-19 pandemic. This video will help explain the real situation and give a clear understanding about the issue that we discussed just now.
Sementara itu, KPM mengambil inisiatif menghidupkan semula slot program TV pendidikan secara terestrial sejak pelaksanaan Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan atau PKP pada 18 Mac tahun lalu sebagai usaha membolehkan murid mendapat akses kepada bahan pembelajaran melalui televisyen, khususnya yang tidak mempunyai akses internet atau peranti yang sesuai.
Kerajaan sedar bahawa pendidikan merupakan antara sektor yang amat terkesan akibat pandemik COVID-19 yang melanda negara sejak awal tahun lalu. Keadaan ini merupakan satu situasi yang sukar sehinggakan Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia, iaitu KPM, perlu mengambil keputusan menutup sekolah semasa tempoh pelaksanaan Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan iaitu PKP.
Apabila sekolah ditutup, pastinya pengajaran dan pembelajaran secara bersemuka di sekolah tidak dapat dilaksanakan. Namun KPM komited untuk terus menyediakan akses pendidikan kepada lebih 5 juta murid bagi membolehkan mereka mendapat pengetahuan, kemahiran dan nilai yang diperlukan.
Saya juga difahamkan bahawa guru yang dijemput untuk mengajar adalah daripada kalangan guru yang berpengalaman dalam bidang masing-masing supaya kualiti pengajaran yang disampaikan untuk murid adalah pada tahap yang terbaik.
Road to Success SPM 2020 sebelum ini disiarkan menerusi slot Didik TV di saluran NTV7 menjemput guru-guru pelbagai mata pelajaran bagi membincangkan teknik menjawab soalan Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia atau SPM bagi calon-calon peperiksaan. Program seumpama sangat baik bagi membantu calon peperiksaan SPM yang akan mula menduduki peperiksaan minggu hadapan. Dan Perdana Menteri turut melahirkan keyakinan ramai dalam kalangan warga pendidik mempunyai kemahiran dan kepakaran menyampaikan kandungan pembelajaran secara kreatif.
I will continue by explaining the policy objective of the National Digital Education Policy in Malaysia. Firstly, the policy aims to improve access to digital education. This means all students, especially those in rural and low-income areas, should have equal access to digital device and internet connection. For example, programs like Jendela help improve internet coverage and provide better access to online learning for everyone. Secondly, the policy focuses on improving digital skills for both teachers and students. Teachers are given training and courses so they can use digital tools in their teachings. At the same time, students are also trained to become more skilled in using technology, solving problems, and thinking creatively. These skills are important for the future digital economy. Thirdly, the policy aims to strengthen digital infrastructure in school. This includes improving internet speed, upgrading devices like laptops and smartboards, and making sure schools have a strong and stable digital system. This helps make online learning smoother and more effective. Lastly, the policy focuses on providing quality digital learning content. This means students can access learning materials like videos, ebooks, and online lessons that follow the school curriculum. These materials are designed to suit different learning styles and help improve understanding in more interactive way.
Now I will explain the policy strategies under the Malaysia Digital Education Policy. First, the government introduced digital learning platforms such as DELIMA, which stands for Digital Educational Learning Initiative Malaysia. It is to support teaching and learning during the COVID-19 pandemic. DELIMA became very important because schools were closed and students had to continue learning from home. Through this platform, teachers could use tools like Google Classroom, Google Meet, and Zoom to share lessons, give assignments, and communicate with students. This helped to keep learning going even when physical classes were not possible. It also made it easier for students to access lesson materials anytime and anywhere as long as they had internet access. In many ways, this platform became one of the main solutions for maintaining education during a difficult period. And for the second strategies, the government provided hardware and data support to students, especially those from B40 families and low-income households. This is important because many students did not have enough devices or stable internet to join online classes properly. So some students had to share one phone with their siblings while others depended on limited data plans. Because of this, the government and schools helped by giving laptops, tablets, and free internet data packages. This support made it easier for most students to access their lessons and stay connected with their teachers. It also helped reduce the gap between students who had full access to technology and those who did not. Without this support, many students would have been left behind in their studies. For the third strategies, the policy also focused on improving digital teaching tools. Teachers were encouraged to use platforms like Google Meet, Quizzes, Kahoot, and YouTube to make learning more interactive and engaging. Instead of only using notes or simple explanations, teachers could use videos, quizzes, and live discussions to make lessons more interesting. For example, quizzes could be used to check students' understanding, while videos could help explain difficult topics more clearly. This approach also made lessons feel less boring and more active. At the same time, teachers were able to improve their own digital skills and become more confident in using technology for teaching. This is very important because modern education requires teachers to be flexible and creative. And for the last strategies is the government formed partnerships with telecom companies such as Telekom Malaysia and Maxis. This was important because internet access was still a major problem, especially in rural areas. In some places, students faced weak signals, slow connections, or even no access at all. Through these partnerships, students could get better internet support and also learn through recorded lessons or WhatsApp when live classes were difficult to join. This made learning more flexible and helped students to study at their own pace. It also showed that solving education problems requires cooperation between the government, schools, and private companies. By working together, they could improve access and make online learning more effective. Overall, These strategies show that the Malaysia Digital Education Policy was designed to make education more accessible, flexible, and prepared for the digital future. The policy did not only focus on technology, but also on equality, access, and support for students and teachers. It aimed to make sure that no student would be left behind, especially during times of crisis like the COVID-19 pandemic. In conclusion, this policy is an important step toward a stronger and more modern education system in Malaysia.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Norzulaika binti Azmi. My number matrix 2025216336. Next, I will present the strength of this policy based on my evaluation. For the first one is the continuity of learning. Firstly, the policy ensured that continuity of learning during COVID-19. Despite school closure, teaching and learning, activities were still able to continue through online platforms such as Google Classroom and Zoom. In the Malaysian context, many schools use Delima, a platform provided by the Ministry of Education. This initiative allowed teachers to deliver lessons and students to stay engaged with their studies. This is a significance because it prevented learning disruption and ensured that students did not fall behind. Therefore, the policy can be considered effective in maintaining continuous access to education during the crisis. For the second one, improve digital skill. Secondly, the policy contributed to the improvement of digital skills among both teachers and students. Also, as teaching shifted online, educators were required to adapt by using digital tools such as Google Meet, quizzes, and YouTube to enhance their lesson. At the same time, students became more familiar with using technology for learning purposes. This is an important outcome because it supports the development of digital competency, which is highly relevant in today's digital era. In the long term, this will be benefit students in both their academic and professional for the future. For the third one, government support. Thirdly, the policy was supported by strong government intervention. The government and related agency provided essential support such as internet access and digital devices to students in need. For example, like B40 students receive free data package and loan device like laptops and tablets. In addition, collaboration with companies such as Telecom Malaysia and Maxis further strengthen this support. This effort is crucial because it promotes equity in education, ensuring that all students, regardless of their background, have the opportunity to participate in the online learning. Enhance the policy successfully address issues of accessibility and inclusiveness. And for the last one is the flexible learning. Finally, the policy introduced greater flexibility in learning. Unlike traditional classroom setting, students were able to learn at their own pace. For instance, recorded lesson allowed students to revisit the content multiple times if they need to fully understand a topic. Lessons were also shared through platforms like Google Classroom and WhatsApp, making learning more accessible. This flexibility enhanced student understanding and independences as they can manage their own learning process. As a result, it supports more personalized and effective learning experience. In conclusion, this policy demonstrates several key strengths, including ensuring continuity of learning, enhancing digital skills, providing strong support, and promoting flexible learning. Overall, it can be seen as effective responses to the challenges faced during the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you.
And hi everyone, my name is Nobatrisha Vidya binti Ajib Zuzali. My metric number 2025234714. Today, I would like to present the weaknesses of Malaysian education policy during the COVID-19 pandemic, especially during the implementation of PDPR, which stand for pengajaran and pembelajaran di rumah. During the pandemic, the Malaysian government closed schools to reduce the spread of COVID-19. As an alternative, students continue learning from home through online classes. Although this policy helped ensure that education could continue, there were several weaknesses and challenges that affected students, teachers, and parents. First, one of the major weaknesses was the digital device between students from urban and rural area. Not all students had access to electronic devices such as laptop, tablet, or smartphone to attend online classes. According to Department of Statistics Malaysia in 2020, around 36.9% of students did not have suitable device for PDPR. This clearly showed that many families were not financially prepared for online learning. In addition, internet access was another major problem, especially in rural areas. Some students had weak internet connection, while others had no internet access at all. Because of this, students often missed classes, could not submit assignment on time, and struggled to communicate with teacher. Some students even had to climb hill or go to the public place just get internet coverage. Besides that, many students had to share one device with siblings who were also attending online classes. This limited their learning time and affected their focus during lesson. As a result, students from lower income families and rural communities were left behind compared to students in urban areas. Therefore, the implementation of PDPR increased educationally inequality among students. Secondly, another weakness was the lack of attention towards student mental health and emotional well-being. The pandemic and school closure caused many students to feel stressed, anxious, lonely, and emotionally exhausted. Students were separated from their friends, teachers, and normal school environment for a long period of time. This social isolation negatively affected their emotion and motivation to study. Moreover, students had to spend long hours in front of screen every day to attend online classes and complete assignments. This caused tiredness, eye strain, headache, and reduced concentration. Many students also feel pressure because they had to manage school tasks while helping their family at home. Some students live in crowded homes and were not suitable learning environment, making it difficult to them to focus during classes. According to Ministry of Health Malaysia in 2021, mental health problems among students increased during the lockdown period. Unfortunately, mental health support during PDPR was still limited. Not all students had access to counseling or emotional support from school. As a result, many students become demotivated and less interested in learning. This clearly shows that the education policy focuses more on academic continuity than student emotional well-being. Next, the sudden implementation of PDPR also relieved the lack of preparedness among teachers and school. Before the pandemic, many teachers had little experience with learning teaching method. When school suddenly shifted to online learning, teachers had to quickly adapt to digital platforms such as Google Meet, Zoom, and online learning applications. However, not all teachers were trained to use this technology effectively. Some teachers face difficulties preparing suitable online teaching material and conducting engaging lessons. It was also challenging for teachers to monitor student participation and understanding during virtual classes. Some students turned off their camera or did not actively participate, making it difficult for teachers to know whether students were paying attention. In addition, certain schools lack proper technological infrastructure and support system. Some schools did not have enough digital resources to assist both teacher and student. Because of this, the quality of online education differed from one school to another. Some students received good quality lesson, while others experienced weak teaching method and poor communication. This situation caused uneven learning experience among students throughout the country. Furthermore, another weakness was the assessment and examination system during the pandemic. COVID-19 caused major change to public examination such as UPSR and SPM. The cancellation of UPSR and change in examination format created confusion among students and parents. Many pupils were uncertain about how students could be evaluated fairly during the pandemic. School may rely on school-based assessment to evaluate student performance. However, assessment method varied between school and teacher, making the evaluation process less standardized. Some schools give more assignment and project, while others use online quizzes and tests. This created inconsistencies in grading system. Besides that, conducting examination online was also difficult because teacher could not fully monitor students during tests. There were concerns about cheating and academic honesty since students complete tests from home without proper supervision. Therefore, it became challenging to accurately measure student knowledge, understanding, and actual academic ability during PDPR. Lastly, another weakness was the burden placed on parents during online learning. Parents had to play a biggest role in supporting their children's education at home. Many parents had to supervise online classes, help with assignment, and provide advice and internet access. However, not all parents had the time, financial ability, or educationally background to assist their children effectively. For working parents, balancing work, responsibility, and children education become very stressful. Some parents also struggled financially during the pandemic and could not afford additional device or stronger internet plans. This situation created additional pressure on families and affected student learning experience at home. In conclusion, although Malaysia Education Policy during the COVID-19 pandemic successfully ensured that education continued through PDPR, there were still many weaknesses in this implementation. The major issues include the digital device, mental health challenge, lack of preparedness among teachers and school, weaknesses in the assessment system, and the burden placed on parents. This problem show that improvements are necessary to create a more effective, inclusion, and sustainable education system in the future, especially during emergency or crisis. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, now I would like to present several recommendations based on the findings of this study. For the first one, improved school infrastructure. Firstly, I would like to highlight the importance of improving school infrastructure. Many schools, especially in rural areas, still lack essential facilities such as computer labs, reliable internet access, and updated learning materials. So this situation can limit student learning experience and reduce their opportunity to fully develop their skill. Therefore, it is important for the government to increase investment in school infrastructure to ensure all students have access to a supportive learning environment. With better facilities, students will be able to learn more effectively, and this will help promote equal opportunities in education. For the second one, support teacher development. Secondly, support teacher development is equally important. Teachers are the key to delivering quality education, so it is essential for them to continuously improve their knowledge and teaching skill. Providing regular professional training will allow teachers to adopt modern teaching method and effectively use digital tools in the classroom. As a result, lesson will become more engaging and effective, which can enhance student and understanding and overall academic performance.
So next, I will present the third recommendation. The third recommendation is to strengthen the monetary system in the school to ensure that the policy are implemented effectively. Regular monitor of the school policy and program is important because it helps to identify whether the policy are working as a plan or if there are any weakness in their implementation. In addition, school collect the data and feedback from the teachers, student and school administrator to identify problem or challenge they might occur during the implementation process. By analyze this information, the Ministry of Education can take the quick and appropriate action to solve an issue and make an improvement. This will help to maintain the quality of education and ensure that the policy can achieve the the achieve its intended goal. So next, the fourth recommendation is to provide the greatest support from the student, low-income family to ensure the equal access to education. Many students from disadvantaged background face the financial difficulty that limit their ability to purchase school supply, learning material and digital device need for modern learning. Therefore, the government should provide the scholarship, free school supply and digital device such as a laptop or tablet to support students. This support will help to reduce the education gap between students from a different socio-economic background. As the result, students will have a better learning opportunities and can improve their academic performance and a higher chance to achieve success in their education. So that's all from me.
In conclusion, the Malaysian Digital Education Policy played an important role in ensuring that education continued during the COVID-19 pandemic. Through initiatives such as PDPR, D5, and other online learning platforms, students and teachers were able to continue the teaching and learning process despite school closure. The policy also encouraged the use of digital technology, help accelerate digital transformation within Malaysian education system. However, the implementation of the policy also relieved several weaknesses and challenged. One of the main issues was the digital divide between students in urban and rural areas, where many students lack suitable device and stable internet access for online learning. In addition, students experience mental health problems such as stress, anxiety, and lack of motivation due to social isolation and long hours of screen exposure. Teachers and schools also face difficulties adapting to digital learning because of limited training, resources, and technological support. Furthermore, change in examination and school-based assessment raise concern regarding fairness, consistency, and effectiveness in evaluation student academic performance. Despite this challenge, the policy still provide valuable lessons for the future development of Malaysian education system. It highlights the importance of improving digital infrastructure, expanding internet accessibility, strengthening teacher training program, supporting student mental well-being, and creating more effective assessment method. Greater cooperation between the government, school, parents, and private sector is also necessary to ensure that education policy can be implemented more effectively. Overall, the COVID-19 crisis showed that Malaysia needs a more resilient, inclusive, and technologically prepared education system that is capable for facing future emergency and education challenges. That's all from our group. Thank you.